Are you living your best day every day? Have you ever thought about what would make an average everyday day great? You're loving life. You're doing things that make you feel good, make you feel alive, make you feel like you're thriving. And when you go to bed at night, you just feel like today was a great day. You're living the abundant life that Jesus promised, right? I have come that they may have life and have it to the full. Let's talk about making each day a masterpiece. Hey there, my friend. Jenna Dexter here, Christian life and mindset coach for women. And this is Total Thrive. This is where you are empowered to confidently achieve a thriving and purpose filled life. In the last episode, we talked about defining success for your overall life. We talked about your relationships, your spiritual life, ministry that you're involved in, what kind of lifestyle you want, what financial success looks like for you. Well, today I'm talking about narrowing down your overall life success into what you would consider living a successful day every day. Because that's what life is, really, right? It's living each day at a time, each moment at a time. You're living right here in this moment. Are you thriving right now? Are you loving life right now? Is right now pretty great for you? I certainly would hope so since you're watching me talk. Clearly, this must be the best part of your great day. But my point is, we can plan for a great future, a fabulous, successful dream future. But what are you doing right now? Are you having a fabulous right now? And when you go to bed at night, can you look back at your day in general, most days, and go, today was a great day. Today was a masterpiece day. Because another way to look at it is that it's one thing to live with, say, a high level of bliss when you go on vacation. If you're the kind of person who like lives for the vacations, you live for the weekend. Oh, this is going to be a great weekend. We're going to go have this great adventure. I'm going to be able to relax. I'm going to be able to do all these things I love. But what happens when Monday comes around? What is your average Monday like? What is your average Wednesday like? When you wake up in the morning until you go to bed, can you honestly say that in general, you lived a great day? So think about it. That's tip number one. Think about it. Be mindful about your day. Think about your morning routine, the middle of your day, the afternoon, evening, going to bed. What are the things that you're doing throughout your day? How do you feel during each of those things? And if you're not feeling so great, if doing a certain thing brings you anxiety, if certain thing just makes you feel, I hate doing that thing, what are the chances that you can change that? What are the chances that you can shift either doing the thing altogether or you can create a better experience out of it? And we're going to talk about some of the ways that you can do that. But clearly, if you have a job that you flat out hate, well, what can you do about that? How can you get a different job? What things do you need to put into place? Maybe you need certain training to get your dream job. Maybe you have a desire to start a business. And what steps do you need to take to get that going? There's also okay, I'm not particularly in love with my job, but there's a certain aspect about it that I love, the fact that I'm providing for my family, the fact that it's bringing me financial peace, the fact that I feel like I'm supposed to be here. I feel like I'm doing what God is calling me to do in this season. I'm making an impact on the people that I work with. I'm making an impact on my customers. There's certain elements about a job that the job in and of itself, what you do, might not light you up, but there's an aspect about the job that does, and that you just feel called to, and you have joy knowing that you're doing something that you're supposed to be doing, at least in that season, right? So we're going to talk a little bit more about that kind of stuff too, because that has to do with mindset. So my goal right now is to help you make at least one thing better about your average everyday day. If not, a lot of things. Perhaps you'll get inspired to think about your overall average day and make several changes. But where does this idea of calling each day a masterpiece, where does that actually come from? Well, for me, it comes from Win the Day. 7 Daily Habits to Help You Stress Less and Accomplish More by Pastor Mark Batterson. And the chapter that I'm in right now is called Make Each Day a Masterpiece. So he talks in the book about Coach John Wooden, one of the most revered coaches in sports history. Between 1954 and 1975, he coached the UCLA Bruins basketball team, who completely dominated college basketball at that time, winning 10 NCAA national championships, 7 of them in a row, which is like unheard of. And 6 times, John Wooden was named College Basketball Coach of the Year. But with all of his accomplishments and accolades, those who knew him most would argue that his character off the court was even more impressive than on it. Now, John's life wasn't perfect. None of us is. And we're going to talk a little bit about that. Like when life is sucky, how can you possibly have a masterpiece day, right? We're going to talk a little bit about that. But through the ups and downs of John's life, he had a 7-point creed that he basically lived by. It was introduced to him by his father, who originally copied it from a 1931 interview with Supreme Court Justice John H. Clark. But John tweaked the original creed, and this was his version. Number 1, be true to yourself. Number 2, help others. Number 3, make each day a masterpiece. Number 4, drink deeply from good books, especially the Bible. 5, make friendship a true art. 6, build a shelter against a rainy day. And number 7, pray for guidance and count and give thanks for your blessings every day. So therein lies make each day a masterpiece, point number 3 in John's creed. Now, I would argue that basically all of the other 6 parts of his creed are all part of how you make each day a masterpiece, because each day will be a masterpiece if you are being true to yourself, if you are helping others, if you are drinking deeply from good books, especially the Bible, and consuming good content like the Total Thrive podcast. If you're making friendship a true art, if you're building a shelter against a rainy day, and if you're praying for guidance and counting and giving thanks for your blessings every day. All of those things basically are going to make for a pretty great day. But a long time ago, I developed what I call the 7 essentials of Total Thrive. I used to have a quiz on my website where you could go on and answer a bunch of questions and learn what your Thrive score was. It was kind of fun. And then when I started this podcast, I started the first 8 episodes covering them. The first one was an overall overview of the 7, and then each episode targeted each of the 7 essentials. Now, since then, I've kind of evolved what I call my 7 essentials a little bit, but here they are. And I think that basically a lot of my 7 essentials are pretty similar to what John said, but so think about your life and your kind of your average day and how you are incorporating each of these 7 things throughout your average day. Number 1, God, right? Our relationship with God. Are you abiding with him? Are you seeking him first? Are you spending time in the word? Are you, being mindful of him throughout your day and praying and giving him praise and being grateful for things in your life that he's blessing you with? Are you listening for his voice guiding you? Are you doing your best to know his will and pursue your most thriving spiritual life with God? Because at the end of the day, literally at the end of the day, every day, if you don't have that, what do you really have, right? How could anybody be truly living a thriving, blissful, joy-filled, peace-filled life without God in it? The second essential is dreams, dreaming, vision. Are you mindful of the things that you are experiencing in your life right now that is actually a dream come true? Like, what dreams are you fulfilling in your life every day on an average day that you might not have even recognized as a dream come true? Like, you always wanted a Labradoodle and now you have one. Are you, do you look at that Labradoodle and go, oh, I always wanted a Labradoodle. That's a dream come true. And just being mindful and grateful that you're living the dream of having the dog, right? Are you um, in an occupation, a job, a career that was a dream and now you're doing it, right? So, what things, whether it's tiny or big, the home you live in, the area you live in, um, your community of friends, your church, the ministry that you might be involved in, what part of your life would you say is like a dream come true? Did you finally reach your goal weight and you've been able to maintain it for a long time and that's literally a dream come true because you used to really struggle with your weight and now you're living the dream of living in the body that you always dreamed of? Like, what is it for you? What dream are you living? And be mindful of it. That's actually one of the 7 essentials, but I'm getting ahead of myself right now. So, living the dream. So, either you're living the dream or you're pursuing the dream. What dreams do you have that you are actively on a daily basis in some way pursuing this dream? And maybe it's like, yeah, I'm in a job that I don't really love, but it's a means to an end. It's the thing that's going to get me to the next level. And if I stick it out a little bit longer here, I'm going to be able to eventually either quit the job and do my business full time that I have on the side, or I'm going to be able to get the promotion that I'm looking for, or I'm in school and I'm almost about to graduate and I'm going to be able to get the job that I really want. Are you working toward the dream, whatever it might be for you? Are you working toward getting that labradoodle? Maybe you don't live in a place where you can have a labradoodle, but you're working toward the dream of living in a place where you can. So, what dreams are you fulfilling? Be mindful of them. Be happy about them each and every average day of your life. And what are you doing to pursue dreams for your future? The next essential is purpose, which can go along with dreams, but your purpose, your calling. What are you doing every day that fulfills purpose? Now, this can be a big grand calling, or it can be little things. Are you fulfilling purpose by stopping and chatting with someone on the street who seems lonely? They're sitting at a bus stop and they just have a sad look on their face, and you just sit and have a conversation with them, and you're fulfilling purpose by just bringing joy into their life and shining maybe the light of Jesus into their life, right? Maybe you take a meal to a friend who is sick. What are you doing to fulfill purpose every day, either in little tiny ways or in big grand ways? If you're like fulfilling a big grand calling that you've been seeking, like me doing this right now, I'm fulfilling purpose doing this. There's many elements about me making this video that make for a great day for me. So the next essential is your mindset, your thoughts, your beliefs, your attitudes, how you feel about a certain situation, whether you have peace or joy about it, whether you're feeling like you're in the depths of despair about a situation, whether you have joy about an activity that you're doing. Whatever it is, your mindset could be the first essential or the second essential after God. But of course, having God is what helps you have that mindset that can help you get through a day. Because you know what? Let's face it, sometimes life just sucks. Sometimes, let me put you through a scenario here. Let's say that you have a 5-year-old son who has cancer, and your day involves taking your son to chemotherapy. How could you possibly be living a masterpiece day on a day like that? How could you possibly be having, an everyday great day when your son is in chemotherapy? Well, first of all, with God, um, again, how can any of us have any kind of level of peace or joy or bliss without God, right? So he never said that we wouldn't have tribulation. He never said, he says that we will have tribulation, that we will have hard times, but he will walk through it with us. So let's think about that kind of a day. Because you have Jesus, he is your peace that passes all understanding. You can have peace and joy because you have Jesus who gives you peace that passes understanding means it doesn't make sense. How can I have peace and joy right now when my son has cancer, right? But first of all, through him, all things are possible. Through him, with your mind set on Christ and on the word, and declaring what is true and knowing that this life is but short for all of us and that we're all just going to be in heaven worshiping Jesus for all eternity, and that nothing we go through on this earth, it's just a blink of an eye, right? No matter how bad it gets, we know that we have a hope, a higher hope than anyone who doesn't know Christ, right? So when you go to that hospital and your son is having chemotherapy and you're sitting next to the woman whose son is also getting chemotherapy, and she is just broken and hurting, and she doesn't have God. She doesn't have Christ, but you do. You have a hope that she doesn't have, and you can share that with her. Now you're fulfilling purpose. Not only are you having peace in your situation because of Christ, now you're sharing that with someone else who's like, how is it you could possibly, how would you come in here like you're lighting up? Like maybe there's even tears because you're sad, but there's something about you that she sees that's different, right? And she wants that. And you can share that with her. This is part of how you can have a masterpiece day. This is how you can go home at night and go to bed and go, oh, today was a great day. I was able to talk with that woman at the hospital. And today was great because I wasn't in the depths of despair, because somehow Jesus is giving me peace, even though it doesn't make sense that I could possibly have it. Just that, you can be grateful for that, right? So these are ways that even going through something really hard, you can still find ways to make a day a masterpiece. So on the subject of mindset, let's just talk about little things that come into mind. Like I'm a mindset coach, right? I'm a life and mindset coach. I help women who struggle with their thoughts. Like we all do. Every single human being on this planet, including myself, we struggle with our thoughts. We're constantly having to like battle against something negative that's coming at us and take our thoughts captive. Think about what is true, meditate on scripture, declare scripture that is true over our situation, and choose to go down that path instead of that path. We don't want to keep going down this negative Nancy about, oh, this is so hard. Oh, this is just really um, depressing, and I'm anxious and I don't know what I'm going to do about this situation. We can declare scripture that says to cast your cares on Jesus. We can declare scriptures that says that he guides us, he leads us. We can declare scripture that says, do not be anxious about anything, but in everything by prayer and petition, present your request to God with thanksgiving, and the peace of God will transcend all understanding. This comes back to that whole peace that passes understanding. We can quote scripture for whatever our situation is. When we are feeling like we're going down a negative path, we can stop it. We can stop it as soon as we start to sense it. We can take that thought captive and we can choose to shift our thoughts and our thinking and our beliefs about a situation, and always with our eyes back to Jesus, right? So this is all about our mindset and just choosing that we're going to have a good attitude. Choosing that, you know what? It's not so much fun to clean this toilet, but I'm going to turn on some music and I'm going to dance and I'm going to boogie while I'm cleaning the toilet. And I'm going to be happy that I'm going to have a clean toilet for my husband when he comes home and my family, and we all get to have a clean toilet. And isn't that make a great day? The next essential is basically something that we've been talking about throughout, and that is being mindful. Just actually being mindful about your day, throughout your day, mindful of those negative thoughts are coming in, mindful that you are keeping God at the forefront of your mind and having conversations with Him throughout your day, mindful that you are spending time in the Word, mindful that you are quoting scripture, um, and mindful about other people that you can maybe make a positive impact on and having purpose on. Mindful about what else have we talked about so far? Your dreams. And am I pursuing dreams today? What am I doing that's getting me a step closer to a particular dream? What dreams am I actually fulfilling that I need to be grateful for, that I get to be fulfilling this dream, right? So mindful, intentional about your day, about what is it about my day that lights me up and I can just be grateful for? Oh, I love that the sun is shining right now. And you can be mindful about the fact that the sun is shining about and have joy in that. Joy is one of the essentials. But I'm getting ahead of myself because I actually want to talk about relationships first. Because as John Wooden had said, he talked about making friendship a true art. It's kind of a poetic way to talk about relationships and being mindful about your relationships, right? What you're doing as you engage with, say, your spouse or your significant other, your kids, your friends. Maybe when you go out for a walk in the afternoon, you might go, hey, this would be a good time to call my friend that I haven't talked to in a long time and connect with her and see how she's doing because I know she's going through something. Now you're fulfilling purpose. You're connecting with a friend. You're building that relationship. and you're feeling good that you're using your time wisely, that sometimes it's great just to go for a walk and maybe pray, developing your relationship with God. Sometimes you go for and you're listening to something like the Total Thrive podcast. I just keep getting ways to find that, to put that in here. Maybe you're just going on a walk and just having peace and quiet time and just enjoying the sound of nature, right? And the beauty. But I digress because we're talking about relationships here. So, what are things on an average day that you can do to just one little thing that you can do to improve a relationship, your relationship with your kids, right? Like you're in the middle of working and your 3-year-old is, getting into something. And instead of maybe getting irritated with them, you might go, you know what? I really don't have to keep doing this work I'm doing right now. I could go sit on the floor and play with them for a little while, right? Um, what is something special I can do for my spouse that maybe I haven't done in a while? Maybe I don't really take that much time to doll myself up, but maybe today I will. Maybe today I'll get a little bit dolled up and put on my makeup and have a pretty smile on my face when he walks in the door and give him a kiss and, have his favorite dinner ready for him, right? What are things that you can do on an average day that you are intentionally, mindfully working on your relationships? What's a kind thing that you can just say to someone? What is a text you can send to someone that is encouraging? Okay, so now let's get to joy, which really that's what this is about, right? Having a great day. We ought to be just having joy all the time, right? That's the goal. Let's just all have joy all the time, right? So, the Bible actually says rejoice in the Lord always. And again, I say rejoice. Like we can have peace and joy. Like Paul the apostle was like in prison and rejoicing, right? So what are ways that we can have joy and be intentional about joy? So fun. What fun things do you do on an average day? What, you know, conversations do you have with people where you're just laughing? You're just around someone who just makes you laugh? Um, what activities, recreation do you do that is fun? I play pool on Wednesday night. Maybe you have game night with your family on Friday night. What do you do that's fun? What do you do that's a recreation, a hobby? Self-care. Do you take bubble baths, Do you go walking on the beach and feel the ocean water, the cool ocean water on your feet? Do you go diving into the ocean and swimming? How do you relax? How is your home decorated? How is your office space where you work decorated? And this leads me to the next thing that I wanted to bring up, and this kind of goes with joy, it goes with a lot of things. But I want you to think about your five senses, right? As you think about your overall day, how you spend your time each day, what you're doing as you're going throughout your day. Think about your five senses, what you see, right? So right now, I love the fact that I feel cute right now. I don't always, when I'm not doing a video, if I'm not coaching someone, if I'm whatever it is I'm doing, if I don't necessarily have to have makeup on, I don't necessarily have to have anything cute on. Um, but I kind of have joy right now. The fact that I do. It's fun to be able to like, oh look, I feel a little bit cute. I got a little face on, got my hair going, got cute little jacket on, wearing my bracelet. It's like these things bring me joy. The fact that I can feel kind of pretty, right? And then have decorations around me. Got my twinkle lights back there. I love my twinkle lights. You've probably heard me talk about my twinkle lights many times. I love my twinkle lights. I have them in several places in my home. Just general ambiance lighting. I just kind of have a thing about ambiance lighting. Um, your colors, you're decorating in your home. Do you love the way your home is decorated? And it doesn't have to cost a lot to have a beautiful space that you love. If you have cohesive colors, if you're not great at decorating, bring over a friend who is and have them go shopping with you. Have them just move things around. Sometimes just moving things around in your space can go, I feel like I have a whole new space now, and get rid of some clutter and bring in something pretty, and suddenly it just kind of livens up a space, right? So your eyes, what you see about yourself, about your home, about your work environment, going out in nature, going on that walk. Maybe you choose to go for a walk in a different place that like is a whole new visual experience for you. And then hearing. So what are you hearing throughout your day, right? Um, Back to the cleaning the toilet analogy. Um, whatever it is you're doing, is there music? Is it worship music or just fun? I don't know, 80s music, whatever it is that you can be listening to that elevates your day, right? And be mindful about it. Sometimes I think we go throughout our day and forget, like, oh, I could actually have some music on the back, some peaceful music in the background. I like to have, if you've never heard of, here's a little tip for you. I love having William Augusto. I play William Augusto just shuffled. I tell Alexa to turn him on quite often when I'm working, when I'm having my Bible time, um, when I'm just wanting to, I don't know, it's peaceful. It's he's a Christian, it's Christian music. You wouldn't necessarily know that, but it is. He's got soaking music, soaking in the presence of God, I think is one of his albums. It's just peaceful and it's soothing and it's in the background quite often for me. But you might want to have joy music and dance around while you're cleaning the house and whatever it might be. Or what you're listening to, think about your hearing. Are you just wanting to open up the windows and hear the birds? Do you want to, listen to an audiobook? So what are you listening to as you go throughout your day? What are you hearing that brings you joy and makes it a great day? Um, Touch. What are you touching? This here blankie back here, soft and cozy on a cold day to cuddle up with a blankie that just has the right texture and not just any blankie. Don't just have just any blankie around. Have the blankies that you love. And it's soft and it's cozy. And maybe when you think about touch, also think about your insides. That's maybe the sixth sense. How do you feel like not just good or bad, but like, oh, it makes me feel cozy. Oh, it makes me feel comforted because it reminds me of my mom. It's a blanket my mom gave me or I used to have when I was a kid, something like that. Like it makes me feel safe, you know? So think about your insides, how you feel while you're thinking about what you're touching and how it feels and is it cozy and do you like it on your skin? Um, the sense of smell. So maybe scented candles, perfume, opening up a window and letting the ocean air come in. I happen to live by the ocean, so I keep bringing up ocean, but letting ocean air in or the flowers, if you love the scent of flowers and making sure you have fresh flowers around you where you can smell those flowers. Um, what are you smelling throughout your day and how can you intentionally bring more of that into your life and or just be mindful and grateful for the fact that I'm smelling this thing and I love it, right? Your sense of taste, your food. How can you maybe, first of all, just be mindful again, the mindfulness of what you're eating and actually enjoy it instead of just eating and get on back to work. Being mindful and grateful for, like, oh, this is really yummy. Or what can I do to make this yummier? What can I do to elevate my eating experience? I remember when I was introduced to pesto. I think I'd had pesto. I'm sure I'd had pesto like at restaurants and things, but when I actually started buying pesto and making angel hair pasta with pesto and chicken and tomatoes and onion and mushrooms basically is kind of my jam and oh, so yummy. But then one day, like probably 5 years went by before it dawned on me, what if I put pesto on something else? What if I put pesto in my eggs? I put some pesto in the eggs in the bowl, mixed it all up, scrambled it, and then put it in the, oh my gosh, I just elevated my eggs. No, I don't do that every time, but it was like kind of a fun, wow thing that I'd never had in my life. And it was like, wow, pesto in the eggs, never done that before. And then I'm like, what else could I put pesto on? And I put it on a sandwich, I don't know, a turkey sandwich or something. Obviously, that's kind of a common thing in restaurants is to get a turkey pesto sandwich. But anyway, what can you do to elevate your food eating experience, but also just to again be mindful of it, to like actually appreciate and enjoy your food experience. Maybe instead of sitting in front of the TV to eat, maybe you're like, it's a beautiful day. I'm going to go outside and enjoy the sun and enjoy, the little bunny rabbit that's out, in my yard or something. And you elevate your experience of your eating by just being in a different location and being mindful that, oh, this is a better experience. How am I experiencing life today? This is a better experience over this one. And so you're just, again, mindful of it, right? So, again, to that sort of sixth sense of like how you're feeling, again, think about how you're feeling, not just in terms of happy or sad or depressed or whatever, but cozy. Am I feeling cozy right now? Am I feeling refreshed right now? Am I feeling connected to the people that I'm with? Am I feeling disconnected? And what can I do about that? So identify what it is you're feeling about a situation, an activity, whatever's happening in your world, and what can you do about it to make it better. So think about your average day. Think about how you can incorporate each of these seven essentials or anything into your world that would elevate your experience throughout an average day. And then when you go to bed at night, you're like, you know what? Today was a pretty great day.